report. It's Sunday. Oh, it's Sunday, June 24th. I don't know if that all got in the recording or not, but welcome. Last week was an interesting week, especially on the NASDAQ. Lots of activity going on there. And yeah, we trended downward a bit last week, but I think, yeah, it wasn't much of a surprise if you were watching closely. Anyhow, let's go do a quick review of what I suggested last week. So there are several stocks. I'm not going to go through every single one, but let's start off with the old ones and look at their performance, okay? Let's go through. So last week last video, I mentioned that the regulated utility stocks were looking good. And I was right. I'm not always going to hit it out of the park, but let's take a look at the week's performance. So let's start off with American Waterworks, AWK. See, we had a nice bump up last week. There, let's see, what do we open at on Monday? We really had a little bump up from 81 to 83. There was looking also good on as well Friday. This one has really started to turn around. I think we've kind of reached the limit, but that was a good one. POR looked good as well. Also had a good week. All these utility stocks went up. As you can see, this is a nice one to trade in and out of. I don't know how much higher it'll go, actually. We'll see. You know, it's got the resistance at 43. You can probably buy back a 41 in a couple weeks. But this is one you can make some cash. It's reliable, and if you work during the day, you don't have to micromanage it. Like some of the stocks on the NASDAQ or those ones that are high flyers at the open that people like to jump into. Those are quite interesting. I would just rather have these nice small gains rather than putting that. I find those are a bit more risky. But anyway, hey, whatever works for you though, right? XEL, let's see how this one did. Not too bad, up a bit. I think this one will continue to go up this week. Let's see, PNM Resources had a good week as well. So we talked about NJR, really boring gas company out of New Jersey, had a great week. I don't think I'd buy any more. I think I might get ready to sell. I got to make sure that I actually did. We had a great week. I hope you had a great week too. But that was last week. So let's look forward to this week. Now, oil had a good jump up on Friday. Will it continue? I think so. The futures are looking good for tomorrow. But that doesn't mean that'll always carry through. But I did find a few interesting stocks. I actually bought a few on Friday afternoon because I was just kind of scrolling through and seeing what was met my buying criteria. So let's go through a few. I don't have that many this week, but I'd rather have the quality ones that are more, if we can get more quality than quantity, I'm all about that. And then we'll just go through a couple of ones we talked about way back. So the first one that came upon my radar was NCSM. This is, they have to do with oil field and services and so on. I think they have to do something with fluids as well. As you can see back over here, the $14 level, we've had quite a bit of resistance here, but we broke through beginning of June, but now we're starting to turn up again. I like this one. Of course, guys, if it starts to turn down, never ever lose more than 7 to 8%. It's also busting through the 10-day moving average. Good sign, good sign. Let's see, what else do I have? And these are all oil patch related companies. I think we're going to have an interesting week. MDK. Is it MDK? No, it's not. Let me see. MIK. Oh, this is different. Michaels, yes. Everyone knows Michaels. Maybe your wife wants to go there and buy half the damn store when she goes in. We had a bit of a drop. Not sure. Probably earnings related, I'm guessing. I haven't really looked at it, but it just caught my attention. It looks like it's rebounding a bit. Rebounded above the 50 and the 10-day moving average. So I might take a stab at this and see where it goes. It looks like, this is one, it moves, but you may have to kind of keep it out of the corner of your eye, right? if you're at work. So, but not too much though. I like to give you guys the low type of volatility stocks that, because most of you have day jobs. And I don't want you to have to check it every half hour when you're at work. But I know it's kind of fun to check, but I don't want you to have to sweat it, right? Okay, another stock that I am jumping into is HK, Halcon Resources. Oil field services related. I like this. I think it's going to bounce back up. We'll see though, right? It just came upon my radar. It looks like it's starting to turn around. We've got good volume, above average volume. If this thing doesn't go our way, then I'll just get rid of it, right? So we'll take a look. I'm going to keep an eye on this one as well. Let's see here. Another one. ESTE, Earthstone Energy. Looks like this one's ready to pop too. I think, and I'm selecting these mostly because it looks like we reached the bottom. I'll look at this one here. We have some good resistance around the $8 area, and we're bouncing off our 8.48. We're up 50 cents on Friday. And because of the price of oil, we got some decision out of OPEC, either Thursday or Friday, about final production numbers, how much they're going to increase production. As you know, the market doesn't like uncertainty, but once it has a certain number, even though they're going to increase it, everyone's like, oh, okay, good, we can carry on. So, so this is another one, and based on the oil futures too, I think this one might be a good, interesting buy. I think we can easily get back up to the $10 level, so make $1.50, and yeah, take it and run with it. Last one before we do another review, XOG. This one had a nice bump on Friday. I don't see why it couldn't hit 17 bucks this week, maybe higher. I don't know what the all-time high is. This is a weekly chart. But that would be a good resistance area. I am pretty confident that we can probably hit that $17 area. You buy it around 15, and it goes up 2 points, right? If you can get 2 points, that's excellent. That's a great return. But of course, got to keep an eye on these things. These things can turn around a dime, just like anything else, right? So that's how we always have an exit plan. Don't forget, guys. Interesting stocks. Oh, here's an interesting one I used to talk about. CPG. I forgot about this one. As you can see, this is an interesting one to buy in and out of. This one is also based on the price of crude. So as you can see, we had a pop on Friday after a disastrous week through that resistance line there we were hanging around, broke through and popped up. So we'll see. I don't know if I would buy this. I just kind of don't trust. Don't trust it quite yet. Maybe if we can get above, probably if we, you know what? Actually, just looking at this, if we can get above the 10-day moving average, it might be a good sign because it's a pretty reliable indicator for this stock. So. We'll see, right? And that's CPG, Crescent Point Energy. And we're not too far away, so it might be time to take a look at it. But yeah, you have nice swings in here. We can just kind of buy, hold for a couple weeks and get back up. Another interesting stock that's been on fire for the past couple of months rather, TNDM, Tandem Diabetes Care. Wow. If you watch my earlier videos, I think I've mentioned I got around $5.50, and let me see if I can do a 6-month chart on this. Let me see here. Yeah, this thing has been absolutely on fire. So where do we go next? I don't know. As I mentioned before, I think the next resistance level is around 30 bucks. So I'm just kind of holding and waiting and seeing what happens. I haven't sold any of it yet. I'm just kind of riding the wave. Sometimes it's these little stocks that you don't know how much they'll go up, right? So the problem is I only bought a few hundred shares around $5.50. I'm like, well, I'll just do a conservative bet. So maybe like $1,800 investment. I think it was more like $2,000, right? But I mean, hindsight's 20/20. I mean, you don't know. Absolutely, you do not know. This thing could have gone the other way. I could have sold out when it went down 8%. So, but here, taking off like a rocket. But we'll see where this goes, right? It's quite interesting. As I said, let me see if I can do a longer I can only do a 5-year here. I'm sorry, I'm not at my, I don't have my proper mouse plugged in. Let's do a daily. I don't know if I can go out that much. That's okay. Anyway, if you look at a long-term chart, I can't quite pull it up on here. You'll see there's a gap down around 30 bucks. So that's where we're probably headed towards. And we'll probably base out there. And maybe we'll go higher again. Or maybe we'll come back down. I don't know. But that's the next point of resistance. So not a bad idea if you want to do a quick trade. Maybe get in and make a couple bucks. The stock has been going up so fast. There's really no stopping it. So huge volume on Friday actually. So that's another good sign. Well, listen, this is all that I have for this week. Let's just take a couple look at let's look at the S&P real quick. Kind of a mixed week. I think we might straighten out a little bit here. It's another. The market has not been very exciting. It's been kind of going up and sideways, which isn't that bad. So we'll see where this week goes. Maybe a couple more sideways to down days before we can potentially move up to our next leg up. Let's look at the Dow. About the same as the S&P. It's pretty boring. The Dow has been lagging behind, let's say, the Nasdaq and the S&P. So maybe it'll be a leader. Maybe it'll lead it on the way up this next round. It's getting to a point where maybe we might see a bounce in this next week. But anyway, well, that is all I have for this week. I hope everyone has a great one. Happy trading. And if you have any questions or if you want to go over a specific stock, let's do it. Leave it in the comments. Like, subscribe, and tell your friends. Have a great